We're going to be joined any moment by Representative Renee Ellmers. She's a Congresswoman, Republican from North Carolina. And, she is with us. Well, let's just remind you who Renee Ellmers is. Remember when Kathleen Sebelius, Secretary of Health and Human Services, was called before Congress to testify about the problems with Obamacare, most specifically how insurance companies have dropped coverage for people who were perfectly happy with their plans for reasons like, they didn't have maternity care. Here's that exchange.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Do men not have to buy maternity coverage?
Policies will cover maternity coverage for the young and healthy.
Including
under
men.
30-year-olds will have a choice also of a catastrophic plan, which has no maternity coverage.
The catastrophic, but the men are required to purchase
an insurance policy has a series of benefits whether you use them or not, and one of the benefits will be,
and that is why the health care premiums are increasing as high, because we're forcing them to buy things that they will never need. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
The individual policies cover families. Men often do need maternity coverage for their spouses and for their families, yes.
Single male age 32 does not need maternity coverage. To the best of your knowledge, has a man ever delivered a baby?
Ladies, time.
Representative Renee Ellmers, a standing ovation for you.
That's awesome.
Well, you're a former nurse, aren't you? So you actually you went to a medical class here and there, and you happen to believe that it is an undeniable fact that a man will not deliver a baby.
I do not believe in the foreseeable future that is going to happen, and so therefore the question remains, why should this be happening? And, there again, obviously that was the most glaring point I could make in my 2 minutes that I had with Kathleen Sebelius.
No, but the obvious example here is because of this ridiculous demand by the Obama administration, people who liked their insurance and they were promised they could keep it, they lost it because of ridiculous regulations like this.
Absolutely. We're basically forcing everyone to pay for things that they would never use in order to pay for those who need health care. Now, look, we all want to make sure that every American can have affordable health care in this country. That's something that, we believe in as Americans. We want to help people. But let's be practical about this. This is not the way to go about it. There's so much waste here. There's so much cost. You know what's happening. These families are finding out that their cancellation notices are coming in the mail, and if they want to continue coverage of some kind, it can be triple, quadruple times the amount with an increase in their deductible as well, which is straightforward out-of-pocket cost. And we just simply can't have this move forward. And, we're in chaos as a result of this. And then come 6 months from now, when employers are starting to talk to their employees about what they will and will not be able to do as far as, providing health care, it's only going to get worse. That's why it's so important that we fix this problem. And, there again, I've never been a proponent of the Obamacare plan, of the Affordable Care Act, which we know is not affordable. However, there are so many reforms we can put in place here in this country with health care that we can really solve this problem.
We're speaking to Congresswoman Renee Ellmers, Republican from North Carolina. Look, you had a vote there in the House of Representatives, I guess it was last Friday, and 39 Democrats joined Republicans in their version of a fix that would say, look, if you really do like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan. However, the question is what happens next, because that doesn't seem to be moving anywhere.
Yeah, well, as you know, the Senate has to act. And there are plenty of Republicans and Democrats in the Senate that need something to happen right now. The pressure is on Harry Reid to bring up that bill for a vote. As you know, the president tried to come out in front of us and do some damage control and put an executive order of some sort forward to try to intervene here. He does not have that authority, and whatever the president has said is only, again, going to be manipulation moving forward, just because he knows how badly this is affecting his approval numbers in this country. The American people just simply do not trust our president right now.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The polls back you up in that fact. And I guess the question I'm getting to right now is, when do you think you reach the tipping? If you're a Democrat, when do you reach the tipping point? How long do you stand there and defend something that 93% of Americans believe needs to either be repealed or dramatically changed?
Well, that's the magic question right now. You know, this whole issue could have been avoided if they had simply allowed us to keep the federal government open without going into a shutdown by delaying this individual mandate moving forward. None of us would know what we know today. That website could be worked on. None of us would have known what a failure it was. So now the question is, and the American people need to put it to the Senate, they need to say, when are you going to act? Because these cancellation notices continue to come to every family in this country. You know, moms make these health care decisions for their families, and they've been told by our president and the Democrats, the plan that you chose for your family is not good enough, and we know better for you. It's time that the federal government gets out of this situation. We don't need this in our families. We need to be able to make choices, take care of our families the way that it should be. And it is time for Harry Reid to act on this. And the president needs to speak up, and he needs to bring everyone to the table to solve this problem.
Representative Renee Ellmers is our guest, and later today, in fact, this afternoon, she is going to be hosting, along with Chairman Fred Upton and a couple of her other colleagues there in the House, some Google Hangouts. So you get the whole video chat thing going and talking to constituents about Obamacare, specifically with people who had their insurance plans canceled. We're going to have the link to that Google Hangout on WMAL.com on the morning show webpage. We only have 30 seconds, Congressman Ellmers, but what do you expect to hear today? Not in terms of, you know, all of the trouble that they're having. We get that. But what about the solutions moving forward?
Well, look, as I said, it is time for the American people to put the pressure on the Senate. Let's be able to keep our health care plans.
You know, we had Senator David Vitter here yesterday, and he said Harry Reid is doing nothing. I mean, what's going to move him?
It's going to be the American people. It certainly isn't going to be us in the House of Representatives. He disregards us, completely. It's got to be the American people calling his office, calling the White House. You know, their phones need to be ringing off the hook. It's time for the American people. You know what? Whenever the American people stand up and fight for something, that's when things happen in Washington. That's what we need to happen here.
And Renee Ellmers, you are living proof of that. You were a nurse who couldn't believe what was happening to the healthcare system right before your very eyes, and you were fed up. What'd you do? You ran for Congress, and you beat a 7-term congressman incumbent.
And I am so honored and happy to be doing it, and I'm fighting for the American people, especially our fellow North Carolinians.
Good to have you, Renee Ellmers.
Please come back.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Once again, that Google Hangout, we'll have the link to it posted at the WMAL.com morning show